Hey, are you wondering what's happening in your relationship? Would you like to get a little bit more insight? Perhaps find out what you could be doing and what's happening. Let's have a look, shall we? So, as always, we pick three cards and they will represent you and your relationship and which reading would be most appropriate for you. So, look at the cards, look at the crystals that I will choose to go with them and see which one resonates for you, which one's calling you. Which one feels right? That's usually the Joker. And that will usually represent the best reading for you at the time. So, blue opal. We've got a Joker, which is the no Joker, but don't be put off by that because that can mean different things. The Eight of Clubs with the yellow gem, and then the Nine of Hearts, which is the green jade. So this is reading one, this is reading two, and that's reading three. Have a look at them, see which one resonates with you, and which one you think would most give you the correct information at this time of your life. Have a look, pause the video if you like, if you need more time to consider it, and I'm going to go on with the readings. Right, welcome to your reading. This is reading one, and you chose the negative Joker, the black Joker with the blue opal. So, what does that mean for you? And are you already feeling dread? Well, the what I call the no Joker, the yes Joker, they are just simply different challenges. The flip side of the same coin. So they both kind of lead almost in the same direction, but they tend to be different in different dramatic ways. The no often calls for you to be like the fool and to be more trusting and just kind of intuitively know what's happening as opposed to just struggling for clarity. So I am going to use the Joker as the significator card and do there we go. One wants to come out already. So we're already on a roll with that one. And I'll pull out the rest of the cards in a pyramid reading that will give you a bit more clarity about you, your partner. Oh, there we go. And then recent, past, present, and the near future. We can't tell things into infinitum, so we look at the near future. Right, let's get three cards out. Right. So let's get things all neatened up there and see what we've got, what we're working with. Right. So as I said, the Joker represents the relationship. Okay. And it can ultimately say no, but I'm not seeing that in the spread. It's more like a warning, more like a calling to reevaluate things so that you're not miscommunication, because usually that's the death of relationships, is the lack of communication. Now there are not a lot of hearts in this spread, but that doesn't matter. What we're looking at is, in this particular spread, is the challenges, so we can get there. And you'll see as I pull more cards out, you'll see what I'm talking about. These two cards, this represents you as the querent, and that represents your partner. Okay, recent, past, present feel for things, and the near future. So it's not all as dark as it looks. You are looking at a long-term relationship, or are in a long-term relationship, but the general feeling is that that is your hope. This is your goal. You want to have this family type of unit, even if it's just a family for two, doesn't matter. Even if it's just two people, there's no kids and there's not dogs and cats and hamsters and so forth. it still represents you as wanting that family unit. Okay. Your partner is feeling that that wish is being denied for your partner. So your partner's kind of feeling that I'm not getting what I need. So this is what we need to come to grips with so that we can have a positive outcome. In kind of the quite recent past, we always look at a few months either way. We're looking at a transition from something quite negative that has probably been brewing up, but moving towards something more positive. But that change in the relationship is also, in its sense, is a challenge, because this is a big change that's happening in the relationship, and it's causing a lot of changes, a lot of wisdom, a lot of spirituality, a lot of awareness of things. So that is shaking everything up. There's no two ways. And that's what the jokers. The jokers are very, very big changes. And that's the beginning of the new cycle in your relationship. The Six of Diamonds is quite a fortuitous card in the sense that it's a card of give and take. So it indicates a kind of a moving towards a give and take, literally give and take. So being there for somebody's there for you. It's also mutual in sense of a responsibility, family kind of orientated responsibility, the home, it's all that. So I'm seeing that all of these shakeups are making you feel like, let's just flip that over because that's not part of this reading. The shakeup is there to enable you to move forward into something a lot more positive. So that's a good thing. I always feel that the challenges are there to make us grow. So can this relationship be everything that the two of you want? In some respects, it could be, but then there's also every sword has a double edge. There's always the flip side to things. I think a lot of the challenges come from the lack of communication, which has led to feeling very, very unstable, which is the Five of Diamonds represents kind of the emotional and financial fluctuation. It just not being on a steady ground. So until you can learn to communicate on a new level, because whatever happened, whatever worked before is not working right now. So until you can work on that, you've got a bit of struggles going on ahead, which is represented by the spades. The eight they're usually internal. The eight is usually an internal struggle, which is obviously not being able to communicate properly. So you start getting very negative and very frustrating. The Jack of Spades is also the self-deception, which you want to avoid, of course. The Five of Diamonds is just representing the overall instability. So this is the challenge, is that you want to learn to communicate on a new level. Let me get you a oracle card. And that's usually a good bit of inspiration to take home with. I breathe calmly and easily, and I am safe in this moment. So I think it's time to focus on what's really important and find out why you're having these challenges of communication, and that will help you set the path forward, even if it means ultimately that you just cannot reconcile your differences and you go separate ways. But at least you go with a open heart and with a sense of closure and not a sense of anger. You never want to go forward with a sense of anger. But I do believe that most things can be resolved, and the communication here is the key. So I do hope this gave you a bit of clarification and a bit of advice on how to go forward. And thank you so much for watching. If you found that this reading gave you some value, do consider giving it a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel, follow the channel, and watch more videos just like this one. Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you all the best. Hey, welcome to your reading. This is reading 2, and you chose the 8 of clubs with the yellow crystal. So what does the Eight of Clubs mean? Well, for one thing, it's quite a fast-paced card. It's good news, it's success, it's taking action. It's a very physical and a very doing kind of card. There's no sort of like sitting back and kind of just yeah, I'll get on with it. No, this is like a doing card. Okay, there's a lot of movement, a lot of changes happening. So let's see what they are. We'll use the Eight of Clubs as the significator card, which will represent your relationship currently. And do remember, this is always usually about the present and the near future, recent past. In the years to come, things will change. So let's see what we've got. Right, let's get that all aligned. Get it all nice and neat in the center, so we can place more cards on top of that as need rises. Quite interesting. This is a relationship with a lot of passion and a lot of independence. Both you and your partner are fairly feisty and independent. That can be a challenge. But I do think you're working this out, which is good. The first card on the second row represents you as the querent, and that is your partner. This is the recent past, the present, and the near future. The Queen of Clubs, again, this is not representative of sex specifically, although it could be. It's more of the mood and where the person is at that particular time. The Queen of Clubs tends to be a little bit seductive. The Queens talk the truth as well. So clearly you are being possibly somewhat seductive, even if you don't really realize it. So maybe a little bit of manipulation. Yeah, just a little bit. But it's not an entirely negative thing. Sometimes it's not even a conscious thing. The Five of Clubs is kind of the opposition to that. So the Five of Clubs is saying, you're trying to manipulate me and I'm fighting back. So there's a kind of a push and pull between the two personalities, a battle of wits sometimes. But it's also very physical. This is why I think the relationship is really represented by a lot of movement, a lot of action, a lot of changes. And also, I think in a sense, good news, because once you can marry these two seemingly opposing personalities, they can actually work together. They can actually work together as a couple, which is represented a lot by the two in the near future. Recent past was quite a successful, quite a successful, how do I put it? There is kind of an achievement of in the past of this relationship. You've overcome things together, I think, and ironed out a lot of these differences already. I actually think that these differences are in the way largely already being dealt with, which is quite nice to see. The recent the present is the Six of Diamonds, which is the give and take. Again, it's the family. It can represent that give and take of the family unit, the financial, the emotional, the giving and taking of help, being there for somebody being there for you, that sort of thing. So that exchange is quite nice to see in a relationship. It's a very practical relationship in many respects, possibly quite sexual, but relatively practical. Not so much, hearts in the sky kind of thing. It's just like this works. We know who we are. We like what we do. We like doing it together, and it works. Okay. The Two of Diamonds in the near future is about trusting your intuition about all of this that you've put together. It's also about being flexible and allow transition to happen, because these are two feisty people. So every time you create a comfort zone, you kind of need to break it, so that you can keep fluid and you can keep those energies flowing in a positive way. So it's also a communications card where it's calling you to be more open to suggestion from your partner, both ways. It's not just a one-sided thing. Trusting your intuition about what's happening and going with it, because I think it's headed in the right direction. It's definitely a time for flexibility, because I think that will bring the most reward for both parties. So I think that's pretty much says it all. Let's get a confirmation, further confirmation, whether it be challenges or just just plain positivity. Oh, there you go. Again, it's a relatively practical reading with a very positive outcome. These two are paths: path to success, path to transitioning to a really quite a successful, positive thing. There's the stable relationship, and the Three of Diamonds is the evolution of that relationship through the flexibility and the communications. So I think that's going very, very well. So when you're thinking that you're just, at odds with each other, stop and have some communication. And you'll realize you're actually working towards the same goal, not against each other. Let me get out a oracle card. I trust that my intuition is always leading me in the right direction. And that's just what I've just said. So there you go. I think you're on the right path. And if you feel like you're not, perhaps you just need to look at something different angle. Perhaps get a trusted friend to give you some advice on what you could be doing differently. Someone who knows your personality better. And get this back on track, because I think you've got quite a rosy future ahead. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that was of help and inspiration. And if you enjoyed the video, do remember to give it a thumbs up and follow the channel. If you like this kind of content, you'll be alerted to more of it. So have a wonderful day and all the best with your relationship. Hey, welcome to your reading. You chose reading 3, the 9 of Hearts with the Jade. Now, the 9 of Hearts is, that's an interesting one. I think everybody would like to pull that card as the significator for the relationship and for your path, because the 9 of Hearts is the wish card, what we call the wish card. It's getting what you wish for. However, before you get overly excited, remember this. Sometimes what we wish for is not necessarily good for us. So let's see what the rest of the reading will build around the significator card. Right, let's get it all aligned in the center there so we can have a good look at it. Overall, I am picking up some challenges. Move that down. Overall, I'm picking up some challenges that could be overcome, relatively easily, but they do need to be addressed. Okay, so as I said, it's a significator card. That's the overall feeling for this relationship, which is very, very positive. It's getting what you want, what you need. There's also a warning about becoming what's the word? Too lax, just kind of, I've got it, it's done. Like I don't need to do anything further. No, the relationship is not built on that alone. This card on the left represents you as the querent, and the second card on the right represents your partner. Recent past, the current present tense, current feeling for the relationship, and then the future. Overall, it's pretty positive, but you've got a few challenges which I can see straight off the bat. So let's get into them. Right, as the 6 of clubs is representing you as feeling this this wish coming true and kind of getting what you want and what you've been looking for. So it's quite a positive card in the sense that you feel like you've achieved this. It's like it's in the bag, and there we go, happy ever after. However, your partner's not feeling it so much. Your partner's sitting there with a Jack of Spades. Jack of Spades is saying, even if it's an internal struggle, even if your partner's thinking, even if it's the thoughts that are casting the shadow on the relationship, we need to just to validate those emotions, those feelings, and then deal with them so that we can move on to the good stuff. So your partner's perhaps not be feeling in the best of places, and that's your job. That's part of your task, is to bring out that communication to ensure that you are not just blissfully unaware of it while your partner's not happy, and that there's this communication. So for every and that card represents deception, self-deception, usually, mostly. In the recent past, you had this wonderful opportunity to kickstart all of this this good stuff. So you had all this passions, fiery, kind of passion, these goals, like we're going to be happy, ever after kind of thing. It's got that feeling for it. Currently, you are represented by the Seven of Diamonds, which again is representative of that hard work paying off. So if you continue along this hard work, putting the effort in other words, you can't sit back now and go, oh well, it's done, that's it. It's like, what else is there to do? If you continue along this path of doing the work that's required for this relationship, then yes, you will maintain that feeling of the wish card, of getting everything that you want. But you need to address these issues, this lack of communication, which is happening here, which is so common amongst relationships. Heading towards the near future, you've got the the Eight of Hearts. What am I saying? The Eight of Hearts, which is good news. It's success. It's also thinking about the love. So that's all the feely stuff. This is the thinking of it. This is the making sure that we've got all the things, all the bits and pieces in the right places. That we're communicating our emotions, which is what's missing on your partner's side. Either you're trying to communicate and you're not getting through, or your partner's trying to communicate and you're not understanding, or perhaps not even listening. So anyway, that's the challenge here, because you've got the success card happening. You've got the celebration coming as the future. This has great scope for even long-term happiness, a long-term goal. So you've definitely got the basis for it. I want to have a look more at the challenges and see if we can get a little bit more information on that might be useful to you, and how you could approach your partner, try to resolve these little issues. Because they will become big if unaddressed, but they are relatively, it's just about communication. Let's have a look. What further advice can we get? Again, we've got the Jack. We've got the Jack of Spades. We've got the Four of Spades, and then we've got the Six. Right, so this is very clear. Where can I put this? I'll put it here as part of the future. You're mirroring again the Jack of Spades. The Jack of Spades is saying communication. There is some sort of deceit happening here, internal, probably lack of communications, which leads to this misunderstanding. Okay? The Four of Spades is the comfort zone. It's the prison almost of feeling like you're trapped and you're in something that you don't want to be in, even though it is something that you want to be, because it's represented by the wish card. You both can get what you wish. It's just being blocked by this little thing called communication. However, the Six of Diamonds is again the give and take. Comes up often in relationships, even though it's about stability, less about the hearts, and it's more about the practical side of it. So you give and take, you talk, you communicate, you offer help when your partner needs it, and vice versa. It can even just be sometimes just working out the budgets for the relationship. So there's a give and take in this relationship, which is wonderful to see, because that is what fulfills the wish card on the long term. So that's the challenge, is to just break through this seemingly possibly impossible barrier to communicate, but it's not. It's a perception. And going into the future, you will be doing more and more of that communications. Right, let me get an oracle card. Let's see what else we can find out today for your reading. All right. My greatest experience of freedom comes when I let go of what others think of me. What does this mean? This is an interesting one, because there's an underlying meaning to this. And what it's saying is, there's the freedom within relationship when you let go of what you think others think of you. So in other words, you might be thinking your partner thinks a specific way, and you might be wrong. So find out what it is that your partner's actually thinking about you. And then you can discuss it. You can correct misconceptions. You can help shape a new opinion about each other, from each other, by honest communication. So I do hope that was of help. If you find this useful, do remember to click a thumbs up and like on the video. And if you enjoy this kind of content, do consider subscribing to the channel. It will alert you to more videos just like this one, and it will help my channel to grow. If you'd like a personal reading, you're more than welcome to contact me through on the cards, and we'll take it from there. Otherwise, have a wonderful day, and all the best with this fantastic relationship. I'm always very, very pleased when I see the wish card fulfilled, the wish fulfilled card come out in this kind of a spread. It's wonderful. So, have a wonderful day.